In 1985, the Mesa Unified District named a school in honor of the late Ramon S. Mendoza, a respected man in the community, one who held education in high regard. He could often be heard telling his 9 children, "Saber es poder," which means knowledge is power. Ramon Mendoza was born August 31st, 1876, in Opodepe, Sonora, Mexico. At the age of 17, he left his mother's ranch in Opodepe, crossed the border on horseback, and came to Arizona. Several years later, he returned to Opodepe to bring his mother back to Mesa. Mesa's population at that time was 700. Here, one of Mesa's early business firms seems to have quite a few customers waiting for their transportation. From an early age, Mendoza worked hard in mines, on ranches, and on a farm near the present site of Kino Junior High School. He was a construction worker at the Roosevelt Dam, the largest dam in the Salt River. Mule teams would carry heavy equipment from Mesa to the Roosevelt site. Stonemasons were employed to cut stone for its construction. Theodore Teddy Roosevelt, then the 26th President of the United States, was on hand to dedicate the dam. Ramon and many of his fellow workers were there as well. During this time, Mendoza met and later married Dolores Leon Garcia. For a time, the Mendozas had the only telephone and water well in the neighborhood. They shared both with their neighbors. 118 was one of the best-known phone numbers in Mesa. Trees, shrubs, and flowers were always to be seen at their home. Ramon took great pride in what he had done. There was always a vegetable garden. Cows, horses, poultry, and friendly family pets were always part of the picture. In 1921, Ramon was appointed to Mesa's 5-man police force, known as the Guardians of Mesa. Mendoza got to know every wash and mountain in the area. This knowledge helped him years later searching for fugitives. The city covered 1 square mile. Whenever there was a police emergency, a red light would flash here on the corner of Main and McDonald. That light could be seen throughout the town. One important tool of law enforcement, the police motorcycle, made its debut in Mesa in 1924. This Ace Sporting Solo, a lightweight racing motorcycle, was a welcomed addition to the force. In this picture, the police station is the small building to the right. The jail is in the basement of the building to the left. In later years, a new 2-story complex was built. The jail entrance was through the side of this building. This jail can still be seen at the Mesa Southwest Museum. Sometimes, when Officer Mendoza would stop someone for questioning, the individual might say, "I'm related to Mr. Mendoza." Ramon would smile. "I'm Officer Mendoza," he'd say. "You're not going to get anywhere saying you're related. And even if you were breaking the law, you would get what you deserve." Though many of the faces were different, the number of people on the police force remained the same for many years. Mendoza left the department after 22 years of dedicated service. Ramon was a well-respected, honest member of the community. Many sought his advice and counsel. He was known as the Abe Lincoln of Verde Vista. It was said Mendoza's wisdom kept petty neighborhood arguments out of municipal court. He was a good citizen. History was made January 21st, 1937, when it snowed in Mesa. School was dismissed, the children were out playing. Ramon and his wife Dolores were so fascinated, they had this photograph taken of their house. Ramon and Dolores celebrated their 40th anniversary with a fiesta. At the time, mariachi like this, serenading at 5 in the morning, was a tradition. No one reported any disturbance that morning because they were part of the celebration, and anyway, who would report it to Officer Mendoza? Ramon always took delight in civic and social activities. He was a sociable person who opened his home to friends, servicemen, college students, and Royal Air Force cadets who were stationed at Falcon Field. A piano was a must in the Mendoza household. Ramon enjoyed music. Many evenings were spent near this piano, singing songs with family and friends. One tradition started by Ramon and Dolores still continues to this day. Each Christmas Eve, the Mendoza family would make about 30 dozen tamales, and Ramon would deliver them to friends. Today, descendants of those first receiving tamales make their own and continue their own traditional Christmas Eve tamale dinner. As an active member of the Catholic community, Ramon was a founding member of the first local Catholic church in 1908. He was on the executive board to build Queen of Peace Church and was involved in many of its functions. A humanitarian, Mendoza included himself in many civic projects, like collecting and delivering Christmas baskets for needy families. He worked with the Welfare League and solicited funds for the South Side District Hospital. An avid sports fan, he supported many local teams. Mendoza was very involved in politics. Many leading political figures would visit his home seeking support and help in their campaigns. Because of his strong belief in education, all of his children graduated from Mesa High School. Eventually, all entered professional or skilled occupations. This is Ramon Mendoza and his family. All of his 5 sons served in the military. Mendoza was a man ahead of his time, encouraging each of his 4 daughters to pursue an education at a time when women were not often encouraged to seek a career outside the home. A devoted family man, by his example, Ramon stressed the importance of leadership and total community involvement. Even now, the Mendoza family is well represented in law enforcement, government, education, health services, and business. Through his beliefs in education, community service, and his great devotion to his family and his religion, Ramon has left a great heritage. He left Mesa a legacy in the form of his descendants, who share his beliefs and continue his work. Saber es poder. Knowledge is power. Ramon S. Mendoza.